Most people think of lakes as beautiful places, peaceful, calm, but beneath the surface, some are hiding entire towns, forests of trees, and stories that sound completely made up, but they're true. Today we're starting a brand new quilt called Lakeside. So while I turn this stack of fabric into some blocks, let's uncover a few of those hidden stories. Hi, my name is Amanda and welcome back to Quilted Tales, where every quilt has a story, and I learn new things along the way. Today's quilt is called Lakeside. I thought it was a perfect project because I actually live on a lake. I love the blues and the greens that are going to be in this quilt. It's just something about the water that makes you feel like you can just slow down a little bit. Today's goal is pretty ambitious. I'm going to iron all my fabric, get everything cut out, and hopefully sew and have all my quilt blocks ready to go. I started this quilt with a lot of fabric and somehow it ended up in a whole lot of Ziploc bags. Seriously, they're everywhere. If one of these bags disappears, this whole project turns into a scavenger hunt. So come on, we got a quilt to make. While I was getting ready to make this quilt, I started looking up stories about lakes, and I figured I'd find something about fishing or boating or some famous vacation spots. But instead, I found something I never expected. There are lakes all over the country where entire towns are still sitting underwater. Back in the early 1900s, the cities were growing fast enough that they needed more drinking water. So the engineers found that the best way was to build dams across the rivers. But the dams created huge reservoirs, but there was one problem. The people already were living there. Families were told that they had to leave, their homes were sold, businesses closed, and in many cases, the cemeteries were carefully moved, but not everything could be taken. Stone foundations, roads, bridges, old walls, and sometimes even entire buildings were left behind before the water slowly rose over them. In some places, if there's a severe drought and the lake levels drop enough, pieces of the old towns start to reappear again. People have found sidewalks, chimney stacks, old roads that haven't been seen for decades. Imagine taking your boat across a quiet lake and realizing there's an entire community beneath you. I can't even begin to imagine what it must have felt like for all those families to leave everything they knew behind. It reminds me that places don't just disappear because we start not seeing them anymore. Their stories are still there, just waiting to be remembered. Speaking of things hidden beneath the water, believe it or not, lakes don't just hide old towns. Some hide entire forests. When the valleys were flooded to create the reservoirs, thousands of trees ended up underwater. You'd think that they would rot away after a few years, but in some lakes, the water is so cold and has so little oxygen that the wood hardly decays. Divers have explored these underwater forests and found tree trunks still standing upright, almost exactly where they grew. Some are so well preserved that you can still see the bark. Imagine swimming through crystal clear water and suddenly finding yourself surrounded by towering trees. It would almost feel like walking through another world. Scientists actually study these underwater forests because they can reveal what the landscape looked like hundreds or even thousands of years ago. Nature has an incredible way of preserving little pieces of history when the conditions are just right. It's amazing to think that while you're enjoying a peaceful afternoon on the lake, there's an entire hidden world just beneath the surface. And here's something I never really thought about until I looked it up. Why are the lakes blue? It isn't because the water is actually blue. Pure water absorbs more of the red, orange, and yellow parts of the sunlight while reflecting and scattering the blue light back to your eyes, and that's why deep, clear lakes often look so brilliantly blue. But not every lake looks the same. Some appear green because of algae or tiny plants. Others look almost black because they're deep or surrounded by dark trees. So the next time you're looking out across a lake, you're really seeing sunlight, water, and nature working together to create those colors. I think that's pretty amazing. Here's something I definitely didn't know. Lakes actually mix themselves. In the spring and fall, when the water temperature changes, the warmer and colder layers switch places, and scientists call it a lake turnover. It helps move oxygen through the water so the fish and other wildlife can survive. It's funny because from the shore, that lake looks exactly the same, but underneath, there's a whole lot going on. All the blocks are finished. I can finally start seeing the quilting come together. It's always fun when a pile of fabric actually becomes something real. Next time we're going to lay out all the blocks. I'll have put on the sashing and the borders to finish the quilt top once the blocks are together. Well, I'd call that a pretty good day's work. Thank you for spending some time with me today. I hope you enjoyed the stories just as much as I did. If you have one, drop it in the comments. Until next time, stay curious, because sometimes the best stories are hidden right beneath the surface. I'll see you in the next episode.